is the BYOB Power Start Training Call. My name is Tasha Dyer, and I am facilitating this call this evening. So this call is designed for you who have made the decision that you want to build distribution centers. You want to build those ATM machines. That's what this call is designed to do. Because what we understand and what we know is that what gets done gets duplicated. And so you're on this call tonight because you've made the decision that you want to create that foundation. You're on this call tonight because you've made the decision that you are ready to take your business to the next level. Now, once again, my name is Tasha Dyer, and I am no different than any one of you all. See, we had the same parents, and our parents told us, go to school, get good grades, go to college and get you one of those good jobs, right? And I did that. I did what our parents told us to do. Our parents. See, I went to school, got those grades, went to college, got my degree, got one of those good jobs, because when I joined the military, I transitioned, became an officer. I wanted to rise to the top because, we always are climbing that corporate ladder. And that's what I decided to do. So I was able to retire, U.S. Army Major retired. That's an accomplishment, right? That's something significant, right? Because that's what society has told us. I have the degrees, the MBAs. I have all of those behind my name. I am a licensed financial advisor. That's what I am. So I've done it. I've done everything that our parents told us to do, which is no different than what you've accomplished and what you've done. But yet we're on this call. And we're on this call because we saw something different. And we know that that cycle and that system does not work. We know that what we were told, what we were given, the life that all the dreams that we were given, we were fed this, and we know that it doesn't work. I want you to think back to something. I want you to think back to when you were a child. And when you were a child, you were told that you could do and have anything in this life that you wanted to be. You could do anything. Well, see, it takes finances to fund those dreams. It takes resources to fund those dreams. And see, as we began to grow, then our parents went from installing those dreams and hopes in us. Society went from installing those dreams and hopes with us and that belief in ourselves that we could be and do anything we wanted to have in life. But see, when we realized that finances was a resource, finance is the resource that is required to fund those dreams, then we heard something called life happen. We heard something called life. And see, why is it that we get caught up in that life cycle? Well, see, we're here to shift those dynamics and change those legacies. That's why you're on this call, because you've made a decision. You've made a decision that life won't happen to you. You've made a decision that regardless of what society says, that you are here because life is not going to happen. Because life is going to happen to us regardless of what we're doing and the decisions that we make. However, we want to be in a position to where we create our own value. We want to be in a position to where we determine our outcome. We want to be in that position. And that's why you're on this call this evening. So buckle up your seatbelt and understand. Make sure you have your pen and paper available, because you're here. And we're going to start with your mindset principles. So you're here on this call. But as you're getting ready for that, I'm going to ask you a question. And as I ask you this question, I want you to close your eyes. I want you to feel what I'm saying and what I'm asking you, because I'm going to ask you, and here's the question, and I'm going to pause because I really, really, really want you to think about it. Are you wealthy? Are you wealthy? Now, what is wealth? What is wealth? See, you have to get definitive with that. So are you a millionaire? Are you a billionaire? See, are you those things? So now answer that question to yourself. Answer that question again. Are you a billionaire? We're going to take it there. Are you a billionaire? Because we're talking about wealth. So are you a billionaire? And the answer to that question should be yes. It should be. Because we just said we are going to determine our own value. We're going to determine our outcomes. We make those decisions. Nobody else gets to make that for us. So how do I transition and shift into that space? How do I transition and shift into that mindset? We're going to start with your 5 mindset principles. Now understand, as we go through this and as we begin going through the 5 mindset principles, understand that this is not negotiable. Because if you negotiate with this, you're negotiating with your life. If you negotiate with this, you're negotiating with your wants, dreams, ambitions, and desires. So this is not negotiable. Not at all. These are your 5 mindset principles. See, in order to create your value, you got to think it first. Then you speak it, then you perform it. It's just that simple. Think it, speak it, perform it. So, number 1 is a compelling why. A compelling why. Your why has to make you cry. Your why has to burn deep. Your why is burning inside of you. Your why is your reason for living. Your why is why you're put on this earth. Your why, and the day you find out your why, when you figure that out, now go back to, I just told you about your parents. Your parents said when you were a child that you could be anything that you wanted to do. You could be anything that you wanted to be. And see, when you had that childlike faith, when you had those childlike ambitions, and when you had those childlike desires, nobody could stop you. Nobody could tell you something different. And think about a child that can't get something that they want. Think about that person. Think about that child. You know, whether you have children, nieces, nephews, think about how they are. They cry. They cry. It's so is devastating. You've rocked their world. That's the person you gotta be. That compelling why. When they want something, when you want something. So what is your why? Why were you put on this earth? What is it about you that compels you? What is it? You've got to have that same desire, that same ambition, and those same tears that a child has. You have to have that, because that's what a compelling why is. And it has to be specific, okay? It's got to be very specific. See, that child does not care at all about where you're trying to go. That child does not care about the resources when they want something. That child does not care about anything or any obstacle or anything in their way. The child, they don't care. All they know is that they have a desire, they know that they want something, and they know for a fact they're going to achieve it. They're going to succeed and they're going to have it. That's a compelling why. That's what you have to have. And that's how you have to think. And when I say specific, if you were going to buy a house, you wouldn't just say, oh, I want a house. So it cannot be, oh, I just want financial freedom, or, oh, I just want to leave a legacy, because everyone wants financial freedom. Everyone wants a legacy. And that's why I began this call when I made the statement and I made the comment that you have to have that mindset. When you have to have that, that's that. It has to be very specific. And that's why I asked you to paint that picture and to close your eyes. And I started it out with what is wealth. And I started it out with what is that? That's why I started it out. Because if I just say wealth, that's something different to each and every last one of us. That's something different. But when I got specific and I said, are you a billionaire? That is when you knew exactly what we were going to accomplish and where we were headed. Because, we're not saying, okay, I need an extra $500. No, I said $1 billion. So when I ask you what your compelling why is, it has to be that specific. If you're going to look for a house, you wouldn't say, oh, I need a house. You're going to get very specific with what's happening with your family. You're going to get very specific. You know that you don't want one bathroom to where everybody has to share. So what is your compelling why? It needs to be specific, the same way that house is, the same way when you purchase in a car, the same way when you're out and about. It has to be just that specific, to the point to where the same way a child bursts out in tears when they cannot have something that they want, the same way a child does those things, that is the same way you have to be. That's how deep your compelling why has to be. to where you see yourself as that child and you envision that, and you know for a fact that if I don't achieve it, it's going to make me cry. That was what your compelling why has to be. And number 2 is your burning desire. A burning desire burns deep down inside of you. See, a burning desire is what keeps you consistently on this call. A burning desire is what is going to help you get to the point to where no matter what happens, because remember, life is going to happen to you. Life is going to happen. Life happens to everyone. It's just, what are your resources and what are your abilities when it happens? What is your desire to push through those obstacles? Do you make excuses or do you push through? That is what a burning desire is. See, that's a fire that lights inside of you. You have to have that fire that burns deep inside, because you're going to overcome those obstacles. And that is a necessity for success. That's the difference between successful and unsuccessful people, is that they push through, because everybody wants something. Everybody desires something. But will you light that fire, that internal fire on the inside of you, to actually make it happen? Or will you sit back and wish and coulda and I shoulda, and if this hadn't been going, or if and what? But no. Burning desire. It's a flame and it's a fire. So no matter what is going on, no matter what life obstacles I have, I am going to make it happen. And then number 3 is your commitment. Your commitment. Your commitment. And I can say it all night, your commitment. Are you committed to yourself? Are you committed to you? Are you committed to ensuring that these things are going to happen? Are you committed? Are you? Because we often get committed to so many things. We get committed to other activities. We get committed to things that are happening in our world. We get committed to our children. We get committed to our families. We get committed to everything. But are you committed to yourself? See, when you fly, that's the reason why you put the mask on yourself first. Have you ever questioned that, or you ever wonder why? Because if I can't save myself, it's absolutely no way that I can save anyone else. It's absolutely no way that I could do anything else. So the other question is, if you're committed to yourself, well, it's not even a question, it's a reality. If you're committed to yourself, then that's when everything else falls into place. Because a complete you is what is going to be able to allow you to assist and to accomplish anything else. So are you committed to yourself? Number 4 is coachable. Are you coachable? Are you willing to do what it takes? Are you willing to be coachable? Because see, being coachable means that I'm going to follow the yellow brick road. Are you going to question and are you going to question everything that the coach says? Or are you actually going to accomplish? Are you actually going to make it happen? Are you going to follow the yellow brick road? See, look to your left and look to your right. When you look to your left and look to your right, is what's going on around you what you want to accomplish? Like, is that what you want to be? See, if you have not achieved the level of success that you desire, then you follow the path of somebody who has. Because remember, and I'm going to say it again, what gets done gets duplicated in everything. So if you make excuses, then you're going to duplicate excuses. If you rise to the top, then you're going to duplicate that. So what gets done gets duplicated. Or if you're coachable, then that's going to get duplicated. So you have to ask yourself, are you coachable? Will you just follow the steps when you don't feel like it, when you don't understand, when you're frustrated, when you're agitated, when life is great, when things are going good, when things are not going? Will you follow the yellow brick road? Will you not question a coach and get it done? See, everyone that's successful, we got to separate being an amateur and we got to separate being a professional, because everybody does something. Look at sports. Let's just talk about golf for a second. Look at it. What happens when you have that? We got putt golf. See, that's amateurs. We still get out there on the course. You got people that go pay to play golf. They pay. Hear me again. Paying is not income producing activities. They're paying. But see, putt-putt golf, I'm paying. And I'm getting out there and we're doing the same thing that the professionals are doing, but because we have not approached it the way that they have, and we haven't approached it and put in the time and the effort to get to follow someone who's had the success, we're just out there. We're amateur golfers, amateur night at the Apollo, which is amateur singers, amateur talent. See, all of those individuals have talent, but the difference between them and a professional is they didn't put in the work. They didn't put in the time. They didn't put in the effort. So are you going to follow the yellow brick road? Are you willing to get it done? Are you willing to walk that path? That's what being coachable is. So that means what the coach says, you just execute. You don't have to understand it all. You don't have to feel it. And you don't have to get it. Just do it. Because you've made a decision that you want something. And the coach sees something in you. It's the coach's responsibility because they've already walked the path. So it's the coach's responsibility to execute, to mold you, to pull a talent, to get us all working together seamlessly. That's what the coach's responsibility is. Everyone who is successful has a coach on the sideline. Every last one. And the ones that want to be teachable and the ones that want to question, and those individuals, guess what? They're not in that professional world, or they're riding the bench. So are you coachable? Are you going to follow the yellow brick road? Are you going to execute? Are you going to do it the way the coach says do it? Or are you going to ride the bench? You got to be coachable. And number 5 is belief. See, that belief is important. That belief is what's going to shift in your mindset to where when it's time to make that phone call, when it's time to have that conversation, when it's time to do those things, that belief is what's going to help you do it. Because you have to believe in yourself. You have to.
Absolutely.
You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe that we have your best interest at heart. You have to believe in the process and in the system. You have to believe. And because if you don't, your actions will show that. Your results will show that. Have you ever asked somebody, hey, how you doing today? And they're like, oh, I'm great. But the reality is that they're not. The reality is that everything about them, everything you see it in their body language, in their walk, in their talk, in their face, the way they slouch, whatever, you see that they're not. See, that's how people see you. So they're going to know and they're going to read that belief because you have to have it. Now, those are your 5 mindset principles. And see, common sense tells us, oh, I don't just need one. Common sense says, I know I can't be successful with just one. But the reality is it can't even be 4. It has to be all 5. All 5, which is your compelling why, your burning desire, your commitment to go hard, being coachable, and your belief. And then remember I said we think it, then we speak it. We think it, then we speak it. So what's next is your 5 verbal tools. Your 5 verbal tools. See, number 1 is you have to relate to people. You have to relate to them. Understand that you were once that person. Understand that you were once the person that needs this information. Understand that, remember, at one point you knew nothing about the largest financial market in the world. At one point you knew nothing about this educational platform. At one time you were not in profit in the market. At one time all of this was you. Every last one of it. But the reality is that someone had to share it with you. Someone had to give you this information. So what that means is relate to people. And you do that through time, job, and money. So understand the same way somebody shared this information with you, you have to share this information, because that is how you create your distribution centers. That is how you create your ATM machines. That is how you shift in the cash flow quadrant. That's how you make that shift. You have to open your mouth. But when you relate to them, you do it through their belief system. See, we all have one. We all have a belief system. And that's either time, job, or money. So think about when someone related to you, it's time, job, or money. Because if you got a lot of time, You pretty much don't have a job and you don't have a lot of money. That's typical. If I have a job, I pretty much don't have a lot of time, and I don't have a lot of money because my time is all on the job, and I don't have a lot of money because that business owner only pays me enough to keep me there, not to help me become wealthy or so I can become his neighbor. But then because all I have is a job, is they're taxing it like crazy. So what am I really bringing home? And a lot of people still live check to check. And then if I have a lot of money, the reality is I don't have a lot of time because I spend all my time making that money because that person hasn't shifted in that cash flow quadrant. So it's your responsibility to create some shock value. It's your responsibility to kind of shift that up a minute. Because remember, we all have those same parents. Every last one of us, we're related. Go to school, get good grades. You know, if you brought home a C, you probably got grounded. Go to college and get you one of those good jobs, right? The one with those wonderful retirement benefits. See, we all have those parents that, you know, because that's the dream that society shared with us. That's the lie that we were all told. But it wasn't until somebody was able to tell you different. It wasn't until someone shared something different with you did you understand and did you know that it was different. So that is what that is. That is how you relate to people. And we don't make excuses. Do not make excuses. Do not allow them to make excuses, and you don't make excuses when you need to share this information. No excuses. You don't make excuses when it's time to go to work. No one makes excuses when we have to be on that job punching somebody else's clock. We don't make excuses when we are committed to other people's activities and other people's income producing activities, building somebody else's dream. Excuses aren't there. So why are excuses here? No excuses. No excuses for them and no excuses for you, because you've got to create that shock value. And no, I'm not sympathetic. I'm not sympathetic at all, because the reality is either you're going to be in that world or you're not. So no, I'm not sympathetic. I'm just going to tell it, and I'm going to relate to you, and I'm going to let you know that we got the same parents. And then number 2 is I want to edify. And edify simply means build up. Understand that edify simply means build up. So what do I want to build up? Well, first and foremost is the foreign exchange market. I want to build up the foreign exchange market. So the foreign exchange market is the largest financial market in the world. The largest. And let me help paint a picture for you. When I say the largest, see, what are we most familiar with? We're familiar with credit. We're familiar with credit cards. We're familiar with, I just talked about a house. And how do you buy that? On credit. When you buy a car, how do you buy that? On credit. We live out the U.S. government has debt. Where did it come? On credit. But it's larger than that. Imagine that. It's larger than that. It's larger than the credit market. It is the largest financial market in the world. And I mentioned the credit market because everybody knows what that is. So yes, it's bigger than that. Trading at 5.3 trillion a day, with cryptocurrency over 11 trillion. So yes, it's the largest market. So it does not matter if I profited from it. It does not matter if I figured out how to trade it. It does not matter. I don't have to do that to be able to share this, because I know what the market is. I know that when I deposit my money in the bank, that's where my money's going. If my money's in the market, because our banks and financial institutions and institutional investors, this is what they do with our money. So currency is forever flowing. That's why they call it currency. And where is it flowing? You have to position yourself to where it is. It's not going to come to you. You have to position yourself to where it is, period. That's what you have to do. And so when I say edify the industry, these are things that you have to understand. So it does not matter that I'm still in the education system at all. It does not matter my status in it or what I've done. None of that matters. because the market speaks for itself. And then I want to edify the industry. You're on this call. That means the industry is direct sales. That is what the industry is. The industry is direct sales. Now, we're talking about building ATM machines and building distribution centers. Well, what happened with distribution? Because I'm going direct to the consumer. I'm going direct to the consumer. See, over time, things have changed to where we don't have to use the middleman anymore. And this is why we're having a retail apocalypse right now. This is why so many businesses are shutting down. This is why, because they figured out how to go direct to the consumer. Direct to the consumer. So Amazon is direct sales, direct to the consumer. They were in the news today making some more changes. What else do you got to do to Prime? What else do you have to do? You order it, you get it the next day, direct to the consumer. But yet they're always perfecting, they're always getting better. They're always going direct sales, direct to the consumer. And that is what you're on this call for. You look at how things have changed over time. We don't have those specialized stores anymore. You used to have mom and pop stores. And if you wanted something, you go to this store. If you wanted something else, you go to that store. Well, Walmart shut all that down. So yes, direct to the consumer, direct sales, distribution centers. They changed distribution, and it's been changing ever since then to where we now have Amazon, which is all virtual. And what are you? You have a virtual store. You have a virtual university is what you have. It's a virtual university. So we have to go direct to the consumer. And that's where the success is. And in the company, I just told you have a virtual store, a virtual university. Virtual university is what you have. The company, all it does is teach you. All it does is educate you. All it does is provide you with tools to help you profit in the market. All it does is provide you with information to help you be successful. That is what iMarkets Live is. It is an educational platform that gives you tools and resources that allow you to enroll, to learn the tools, and put yourself in a position of profit. Now, I'm excited because the strategy I created, the BYOB cash out, phenomenal results, 92% accuracy rate. But I'm sitting here, I have a young man that just enrolled just a week ago, if that, and he's already in profit. He's setting up his live account as we speak because he's already in profit in his demo account. Because when I said follow the rules, when I said step 1, step 2, and step 3, guess what? He did step 1, step 2, and step 3. But in the midst of that, he's in the academy. In the midst of that, he's in the academy learning. So he's able to put himself in a position of profit. He's able to cash out with the BYOB cash out before he even learns the entire foreign exchange market. That's what this company offers you. That's what this company offers individuals. That is what you have to be able to share. That's what you have to be able to do. Edify the tools. We have a strategy, BYOB, be your own bank, that will allow you, if you follow the rules within the first 30 days, to be able to be in profit through the education software, the education and the tools of IML, because you have a virtual university. Understand what you have and edify your business partners. I am Tasha M. Dyer, and I told you who I was at the beginning of this call. But also, we have Mr. Gerald D. Rogers. Mr. Rogers, your business partner, your coach, your mentor, Mr. Gerald D. Rogers, investment banking. Understand the magnitude of what that is. He is also the spokesperson for the Web Analyzer. You have the wonderful ability to speak to him and be coached by him. So when I said follow the yellow brick road, you're talking about somebody that's a business owner with banking. What are we talking about? Be your own bank. Banking, commercial real estate mortgage lending, investment banking. And he's also built organizations, written compensation plans, 30,000 people, and compensation plans to other companies. So when I say follow the yellow brick road, when he says, when you say coach and he says execute, guess what? You just do it. It doesn't matter what's happening in your life. It doesn't matter what's going on around you. It doesn't matter how you feel or what you think about it, because success follows success. So that's all we do. And then we have Dr. Craig Bythewood. Dr. Bythewood, PhD in economics and finance. Really? Can you get any better than that? PhD in economics and finance. And he's had all three, over 25 years experience with all three jobs that someone with those degrees desire to have: consultant, education, and consulting, education, and CFO. That's what he's done. And that's what he still does. But yet he's here, and as your business partner, Dr. Craig Bythewood hosts a call every Tuesday and Thursday night for us, for BYOB, to help you, your guests. So this is how you edify. And when you share this information, you want to make sure that you edify and you promote in the right way, because that's what we want to make sure that we do, which leads into number 3, which is promoting. Promoting. People are going to respond to you. They're going to respond to you, not the information. They respond to you, because we control our attitude. We control the frequency. We control what comes out of our mouth. So is this coming out of your mouth? Is this, we control all of that, and they're going to respond to you. Just like Starbucks CEO, the guy who created Starbucks. I mean, they've had coffee forever. Coffee has been around forever. But guess what? He promoted it in a way that it made his where you want it to be. I just gave you all the credentials to the BYOB. I just gave you all the credentials of your business partner. I just gave you all the edification to the foreign exchange market, to your virtual university. So how do you promote that? You have to share that with a sense of urgency. You have to share that with all of that, because we have to create that value. We control all of that. So how do you promote it? Your job promoted your schedule one time. They gave you, if not early. You are the CEO. You are the CEO. And you have to promote with just that. You have to promote with that frequency. You have to make your product so valuable, like Starbucks. People leave their house. People leave their house without coffee. And if you know a coffee drinker, I know it had to have people that told him he was crazy when he said this, when he said he wanted to start this, when he said he wanted to do it. People had to tell him he was crazy. As a coffee drinker, I would have been one. It's all about souls. Without their coffee, and pay money for a beverage. That's how you have to promote it. See, people are motivated by what they feel like they're gonna lose. So Memorial Day just passed. And what happens with Memorial Day? Memorial Day is nothing happy about Memorial Day. It's absolutely nothing happy about that day. That is the day of the fallen. That's the day of remembrance. But yet, somehow, because of the way it's promoted, you got people saying Happy Memorial Day. Happy how? See, that's the day of the fallen. As a soldier, I can tell you that's one of the worst days when you have had your buddies sent home from the battlefield. When you've sent people home and presented families with flags. But yet, they still promote that day to where it's about barbecues. It's about cookout. It's about buying furniture. It's about all of those things. It's about buying cars. It's a big sales event. It's about getting together and going on vacations and hanging out with your friends and families and taking trips and doing all this other stuff. It's all because of the way it's promoted. And see, that's when I say you have to create that fear of loss, because people don't want to miss out. People are buying those cars that day because people don't want to miss out on those sales. They're buying their furniture because they don't want to miss out on those sales. They think they're getting a deal. People are taking those trips because they think it's a special. And oh, I got to be there this weekend. So it's all about that fear of loss because they feel like they're going to miss out on something. Now, how does that pertain to you and what you're attempting to do? How does that pertain to you and what you are doing? See, it pertains to you because you have to create that fear of loss in people. You have to create that fear of loss to where you say, you know what? I'm creating my seat. I'm creating my board of directors. You coming with me or you not? Either you're gonna run with me, you're gonna follow the yellow brick road, you're gonna execute because I'm on a mission. I'm becoming a billionaire. I'm on a run. This is what I'm doing. I'm creating distribution centers and ATM machines. So understand, you want the people with the same desires, the same drive, the same ambitions, the same motivation as what you have. Those are the individuals you want to run with you. Because I know what, remember, you have to create that. And when you create that is when you give them the vision talk. See, in that vision talk, I've made a decision. I've made a decision that I'm going to take 100 individuals to seven-figure earners. That's what I've done. So you being a part of my board of directors, you get to be a part of that. And then we have our movements. What people are inspired by something that remember, we all have that cause, that compelling why. We all have that reason. So I know if I say the women's movement, women teach Forex, because we have to level the playing field. So that's something I know that I'm created for. I know that that's something. So what are you created for? Do you fit? Women teach Forex, boots to banks, faith and finance, millennials owning banks. Are you there? See, we have this because it speaks to individuals. We have this because it is them. And that is the vision that you want to give them, because we're impacting and we're changing lives. I'm talking about 1 million families. 1 million families financially educated, 1 million families financially impacted by the 28th of March, 2021. We're creating legacies. We're changing the dynamics is what we're doing. So imagine the vision when I have a 4-year-old that can talk the chart and teach the training, that she can do that. Do you know what that means? Legacies are being changed. Generational curses are being broken. That's the vision. That's your family too. Remember, we're all related. We all have the same parents. So we collectively have to shift that. We have to change that. That is how 1 million families will be impacted and educated. Now, how do we do it? It's a very systematic process. So I'm going to share this with you. Step 1, step 2, and step 3. We have to, 1, create. We create. You get enrolled. And when you get enrolled at $325. It is $325. We're talking about approximately $11 a day. $325 for you to change the dynamics of your life forever. So yes, I just told you that a young man literally is changing his life in a week. But if it took you a month, if it took you 2 months, even if it took you 6 months, is it not worth it? Because we're talking about the rest of your life. And you want to, when you get started, you want to go through IML Academy. And you want to go through the IML Academy. Forex 101, Forex Basics, and you want to make sure you do technical analysis. And then you want to create you a demo account. Demo like you live. See, even football, they have, what do they have? Football has preseason before they go live. They're on the same football field. They got the same news stations. They got the same correspondents. They got the same all of that. But guess what? The games are not counted in the regular season. So you get to demo like you're live. Demo. And then you want to make sure you have those apps. BYOBchallenge.net. Go register for your free 21-day e-coaching subscription. And make sure that you get that. And then step 2, you want to share. Now, you want to get you a sheet of paper. Make sure you get a sheet of paper and write down 100 names. If you have not done so, do it today. If it's your first time writing that list, but make sure, because we can't call the same 5 people. We can't do it. You have to write you a list of 100 people. And as you can see, this is where you're going to get those names from. This is where it comes from. And then you want to highlight your 10 flat tire friends. Understand, if we can go to the movies, if we can hang out, if we could talk about, if we could talk about TV, if we could talk about what's the movies, the Avengers, or whatever it is, basketballs and the finals, if we can talk about all of that, we can talk about being financially free. We can have that conversation. And then you want to talk to the 25 most successful people. Understand, when I say people that you know, they don't have to be your best friend. They don't have to be somebody you talk to every day. It's 100 people. You know 100 people. The average person has over 1,000 people on their Facebook. Get the names and get the numbers. And successful people understand success. Understand that. Successful people understand success. So they're looking for opportunities. Remember, we all have something behind our name, regardless of what it is. So at some level, at some point, I'm quite sure, just like I do, you feel like you've obtained some sort of success. But yet, I'm on here, I'm on this call, and so are you. That means that we want successful people, and we're talking about successful people that have achieved a level of success that we haven't achieved yet, because guess what? They're looking for. We're talking about the largest financial market in the world. Yes, they're going to see that and they're going to understand. And you want to expose 100 contacts in your first 21 days of business. That's 5 a day. That's what that is. That is 5 a day. And then you want to earn your money back. And you do that, your first 72 hours, you want to have a VIP call. VIP call specifically for you. And then you have another one at 7 and 14 days. Now, Tuesday nights, we have our 1 million family VIP call. Understand, 1 million families financially educated and impacted. So when I get down to the bottom of this sheet of paper, I'm going to explain to you the system and the process. But understand, this 1 million families is about the education. This 1 million family VIP call is about educating and financially impacting and empowering 1 million families. And then you want to invite a minimum of 40 people. Remember, we got a 100 name list. And that means that I want to be able to invite a minimum of 40. A minimum of 40. See, your university is virtual. You have a virtual university. But that means that you have to create the foot traffic. You have to promote it in such a way, in such a sense that you are creating that foot traffic. You've been window shopping before. You've been to the mall. You've got to the register and decided that you didn't want something. So you have to be completely unemotional, not emotionally attached to anyone's responses. Because remember, everything that we need to do, we are that same person. So do you think that CEO, do you think that person does that business owner really care that you got to the register and didn't purchase it? I did that today. Got there and decided that I didn't want something. Everybody does it. So when we have to create that list of names, we have to create that foot traffic. See, they just want enough people coming to their store because they know everybody's not going to purchase. They just want enough people coming to their store in order to make sure that the things get done that need to get done, to make sure that they have enough purchases. You just want enough people coming to your store, to your virtual university, to see what it's all about. You want to have enough of those conversations to where you can create those distribution centers and those ATM machines. Understand, it is for everyone, but everyone is not going to understand it is for them. There's enough currency being traded in the world right now for everybody. But see, that's the beauty of what makes the world go round. And because you're a CEO, that means you understand that. See, the world is turning and the world is spinning with people, because somebody has to get that trash off my curb. Somebody has to do your hair. Somebody has to sell the clothes that you desire to wear. Somebody still has to perform their function. So understand that somebody has to be at that store 24 hours when you forgot something and you need to run out on holiday. Somebody has to do all of those things. So understand that you just have to go through enough people and have a conversation enough to find the ones that want the shift and want the change. That's what you have to do. You have to be that person. Also, now you want to say I am. You want to schedule a meeting in a meeting. Schedule a meeting in a meeting. That means that when you're having that conversation with those 40 people, 20 will confirm and 10 will show up. And 5 actually become customers. That's exactly what I was just talking about. But when I have that conversation, I want to schedule a meeting in a meeting, and I want to make sure you are the CEO, so you remain in control of that conversation. You remain in control of that conversation. So you schedule a meeting in a meeting. That means, and I'm going to go into much more detail in just a moment, but you want to make sure that you do that. But you want to make sure that you give yourself a 9-month commitment. Now, this is where I'm excited. I'm excited because of our events. I'm excited because we're impacting 1 million families. I'm excited, well, because this is what we're doing. And we'll be in Orlando, June the 15th, Orlando, Florida, June the 15th. And then July the 20th. Make sure you're registered. Make sure you're registered July the 20th, because we have our Leadership and Development Conference here in Jacksonville, Florida. So June is the BYOB Expo, and July is about you. Coach has a coach. Our coach has a coach. I just told you what he's accomplished. But guess what? He's not exempt or immune. Everyone has to follow the yellow brick road, because when he's walking that path and he's going where he has to go, his coach. So you do not, if you have to walk, fly, bike ride, take your TV to the pawn shop, whatever it is that you have to do, this is not an event that you want to miss. When someone is pouring into you the way that this gentleman is, when our coach is willing to share his coach, our coach is willing to share his coach with us, and we are going to get to experience exactly what he's experienced. And we get to have that. So no matter what's going on, the only place that you can be on July the 20th is in Jacksonville, Florida. BYOBchallenge.net is where you register. And also, our call schedule is designed for you. On Sunday night is our BYOB Leadership, 8 p.m. BYOB Leadership, programmed in your phone. You know the schedule. You show up before time, not on time. And then on Monday nights, we have this BYOB Power Start. BYOB Power Start. You building distribution centers and ATM machines? You want this to be so ingrained into you, it's second nature. You want this information to make you want to make sure that you have this inside of you. And then this is where Tuesdays and Thursday nights we have our BYOB tools training, BYOB tools training call, followed by a talk with the finance doctor, your RX for Forex with Dr. Craig Bythewood. And then it gets done again. We've been on a mental fast, but leaders are readers. Leaders are readers. So yes, the month of May was all about a mental fast. It was all about self-development, but that should just be the beginning. It should never stop. So the first book is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Remember, you got to think it first. Then you speak it. How to Win Friends and Influence People. And then Success on God's Terms, co-authored by our coach and our mentor, Mr. Gerald D. Rogers. And then the Cash Flow Quadrant. See, you want to make sure that we understand how to shift and understand how we shift in this quadrant. And then your first year in network marketing. Because now that we know we want our money to go from working for us to us working, from working for our money to our money working for us, we want to make sure that we have read our manual. This is our manual for success. Your job gave you a manual. There are books that you always have to read. When I joined the Army, they had what's called a smart book, and we had to keep it in our pocket and reference it at all times. And if we weren't doing something, we had to be reading it. Now, what are you doing for your self-development? What are you doing? If you want to take this to the next level and you want to go where you need to go, you have to make sure that you're reading these books. Now, bear with me just a few more minutes because we are almost done. But this is what's important. When I want to share this information, it's a simple question. It's very, very simple. Are you ready to accept the challenge to learn how to be your own bank? Are you ready to accept the challenge to learn how to be your own bank? And when they say yes, the next question is, over the past 10 years, out of all the money that's flowed through your bank account, how much has your bank paid you for using your own money? Let them answer. And then you want to say, how does that make you feel? How does that make you feel? And then you want to pause and let them answer. If there's a way that you could take advantage, if there was a way that you could learn a skill set that would teach you how to take advantage, that would teach you how to duplicate your money, would you take advantage of it? If there was a way that you could learn a skill set that would teach you how to duplicate your money, would you take advantage of it? And the answer has to be yes. So all three of them have to be yes. And then you want to send them the 10-minute video. You want to give them the 10-minute video. And when you give them the 10-minute video, this is where you say, I am now. Because they're not getting my video if I don't have a follow-up time schedule with you. They're not getting my video if we don't have a follow-up time schedule, period. We will have a follow-up time schedule, or you don't get it. Remember, you're a CEO and you have to act and think and move just as such. And then when you get them back on the phone, based on what you just saw on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate yourself? 10 meaning you are ready to earn and learn. You are ready to accept the challenge to learn how to be your own bank and build a business. And 1 meaning you are ready to accept the challenge to learn how to be your own bank. What is your number? They have to give you a number. They have to. If they are a 7 through 10, those are the ones that you put on your personalized VIP call. Those are the ones that you could do a 3-way call with. Those are the ones that you do that with. And if there are 1 through 6, get them enrolled. They've seen the information. They're ready to accept the challenge to learn how to be their own bank. Walk them through the process. Make sure they're in the Facebook group. Make sure you add them to the platform. Make sure that they understand box 1. And that's what we're here for, to help you through that process, to help you guide them to that process, because you want them to plug in, and what gets done gets duplicated. Remember, this is your foundation. And then these expansion hubs: New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Philadelphia, Baltimore, DC, Atlanta, Houston, Tampa, Memphis, Miami. Understand, those are statistically proven as expansion hubs. But we are global. 120 countries is where we are. So because we are global and in 120 countries, the real question is, where are you at? And where are the individuals that are on your 100 name list? because that is how you're going to begin to build your distribution centers. That is how you're going to begin to create those ATM machines. That is how you're going to build your residual income. And that's how you're going to begin to set yourself free financially. And you want to make sure you follow the system. McDonald's has a system. You want to make sure that you do that, because the founders of McDonald's are no longer here, but yet McDonald's is. And they still follow that same system. So it's all about creating a legacy and creating the right foundation from the beginning, because you want your organization to be so big that you don't even know who's in it. But yet they're still going to be following that same exact process and that same exact system that you created, because what gets done gets duplicated. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, same exact link. BYOB 1 million families VIP call. 9 p.m. we have our BYOB tools training, followed by a talk with the finance doctor. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a wonderful and blessed evening, and this will officially conclude our call.